to These Are the Employers. My name is Rebecca Wright. I'm the Internship Manager in Career Development. And we also have Mary Ellen Schroeder, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen. I'm the Director of Career Development. And Meg?
Hi, I'm Meg, the Student Outreach Manager here at Career Development.
So thank you all for coming. Before I start the presentation, we're going to go over the employers and how things are working. If you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll answer them at the end, or if there's something kind of on kind of about what we're talking about, then Meg will be monitoring the chat just in case. But feel free. We're going to share the presentation, so just follow along and just we'll take questions at the end. Cool. So give me 1 second. Okay, cool. So today's presentation is These Employers Are Coming to the Fair. What we're going to talk about are which employers are coming. We're just going to go over some highlights of who will be there and talk about who you want to meet, how to kind of figure out who you're going to talk to, and then kind of the big question of how to sign up to meet them. So that's what we're going to cover. So we'll go ahead and get started. So before we kind of go into the employer highlights, the thing I want you all to have in mind is to kind of go in with, kind of open mind, kind of think broadly. You want to think outside your major and be curious and just want to get to know companies. Organizations, they're not necessarily all divided up by major. There's different skills they look for. There's sometimes overlapping skills they look for. So just kind of be aware of that, be curious and kind of find out what they do, what skills they look for, and what kind of, strikes your interest. You want to kind of think of yourself kind of as a complete person. So think about different skills you have, in your major, outside your major, what passions you might have, and then what values are important to you as you are looking for a job or internship. As you look at the list of companies, I recommend kind of researching each one and making a short list of ones you're particularly interested in meeting with. And then also, because this is our first virtual fair, there's a unique aspect to this where there are companies that are outside of the Boston area who are coming to the fair and companies who are offering remote opportunities. So also kind of, think about that and consider, that as an option as well. So like I said, we're not going to go over every single employer who's coming to the fair. We're just going to talk about some highlighted employers. We're looking at primarily ones that have kind of multiple majors or skill sets you might be interested in. But there are more, so you definitely want to go on to Handshake to the event itself and look at the complete list. So the first one I want to highlight is Bear Tree Media. They're in Boston. Bear Tree Media is a full-service creative agency, and they specialize in digital experience such as augmented reality, messaging stickers, animated GIFs, photo editing apps. These images here that I'm sharing with you are just like a few of their projects. There's some Instagram kind of augmented reality things, animated GIFs, and then on the right is Doug the Pug, part of the series of stickers they've done. So some of the skill sets they're looking for are illustration, animation, After Effects, 3D. They're particularly looking for interns and freelancers. So be aware of that. So check them out. They're kind of an interesting company. So the next one I have is Black Math, which is also in Boston. And I put some images, but actually what I really would like to just do is show their reel. So that's Black Math. They basically, when when I have to say what they do everything from live action, web, animation, print, broadcast, events. They're kind of all over the place. So this is one of those companies that's interesting because they're wide open. So majors that might be interested in them are communication design, industrial design, sim, photo, video, illustration, even fine arts. Because they do so many different things, they're really looking for people who think outside the box. So definitely kind of keep them in mind. So this company, Collective Next, they basically describe themselves as having a superpower, which is making complex content accessible. So what they tend to do is they tend to work with organizations who are looking to kind of capture complicated information. So in the upper left is an animated presentation. They kind of take information and they make it visual so people can understand it. On the bottom left is what's called graphic facilitation, where they do live illustration at events or meetings to help visualize discussions that are going on and help them kind of get a handle on some of the problems and challenges they're working on. On the right is a recipe holiday card that they did, which instead of having a lot of text explaining how to make a chai drink, they did an illustration that's more fun to understand. So this is the sort of stuff that they do. They're looking for illustrators, designers, people who can do motion graphics, or a combination. So, and they know that that's not always the same person who can do everything, but that's sort of the area that they're looking for. So this might be relevant to communication design, illustration, and animation. So this next one, and like I said, we do have employers from across the country. So we do have the Dallas Museum of Art. They're one of the top 10 largest art museums in the United States. And they're actually in the Dallas Arts District, the largest contiguous urban arts district in the country. Their collection is known for American art, art of the Americas, Africa, and South Asia, and also decorative arts. The image here is from one of their current exhibitions, which is called For a Dreamer of Houses. And it's an immersive exhibition that explores spaces that we live in and how we represent ourselves. They currently have lots of internships in many departments posted on Handshake. A lot of them are curatorial or programs or education-based. What's interesting about them is they have a very large modern jewelry collection, so they even have a jewelry internship. So I'm going to hand it over to Meg.
All right, so I'm gonna put my video off here so I can focus on here. All right, so GPH is a Boston-based company. So they're a leader in public media, bringing you, Author and Friends, Sesame Street, and Mr. Rogers. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Mr. Rogers, and as well as additional programming, documentary series, and current events in different mediums, whether it's film, radio, or on the web. So if you can see the image down on the right, so this is Vanessa Leroy. She's a 2020 photo senior at MassArt, and she was spotlighted for the GPH intern. She worked on Basic Black as an intern, and she noted that she was excited to gain insight into studio television production, as well as assist the team in their mission to keep providing a platform for communities of color. So they do have internships right now available through Handshake. So they're looking for interns for a variety of different positions and areas of expertise. So if you're in architecture, animation, communication design, graphic design, film, video, photography, and sim, just to name a few majors. So if you should apply soon if this applies to you. Next slide, please. So Mattel, I'm sure everybody is familiar with Barbie. So this is a global toy company. Their headquarters in El Segundo, California. So they're the owner of one of the most strongest catalogs of children's and family entertainment franchises in the world. Mattel engages consumers through a portfolio of iconic brands, including Barbie, as I brought up earlier, Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price, American Girl, Thomas & Friends, Uno, and more. So the image up here that I wanted to highlight is American Girl unveiled a new digital platform called Conversations for Change. This is highlighting female trailblazers who share their unique stories and perspectives to inspire others and to share their voices for good. So this picture here features Marley Diaz, a youth activist and author, and with her American Girl doll double for the first part of the series, 4 Generations of Black Voices. So again, internships are available on Handshake. They're interested in speaking to students graduating in 2022 with backgrounds in photography, fine and studio arts, product design and packaging, industrial design, and graphic design. So juniors should really definitely take a look at these roles. Next slide, please. So Moira Studios, located in Boston, Mass, is a cross-cultural creative agency. So they work with a variety of clients from National Geographic and MTV to nonprofits and local businesses. These are on small to large scale projects. They have established their business as an award-winning competitor of top agencies and have more than 20 years of experience working with bilingual audiences across the country and abroad. So one notable project they worked on was the United We Dream project here. United We Dream is largest immigrant youth-led community in the country. In 2020, they partnered with the Census Bureau in a coalition formed by hundreds of organizations to stress the importance of youth to be counted in the census. So they wanted to turn the census, which is boring, the information into something fun and engaging. So they launched a comprehensive organic and paid campaign based on parodies, pop culture topics, including a telenovela to quick cooking videos. So those are really fun projects that they got to work on. So they're looking for seniors and alumni that are interested in internships and focusing on motion graphics. So those who are bilingual and in communication design, graphic design, and animation should totally check out Moira Studios and their website. So I'm going to pass this along to Marilyn for the Museum of Fine Arts.
Hey, everyone. So the MFA we are all familiar with. It's right down the street from MassArt, and we know that they have 500,000 works of art, 1 million visitors a year go there. It's art from ancient Egyptian to contemporary, special exhibitions, and educational programs that they offer as well. Next slide. Our students have had internships at the MFA over several years. Students from art education, fibers, history of art, illustration, sculpture, and the types of internships that they've had have been studio art class intern, Art of the Americas intern, digital documentation and photography internship, and Souls Grown Deep. And the slide that you're looking at right now is on your Handshake account. And if you go into our 10 Minutes to Shine presentation that we did, and we put timestamps on the video, we gave a demonstration on how you can find the reviews and the interviews. So the reviews are what the students said about their experience at the MFA, and the interviews are interview advice. So very helpful to you, and that's circled in red on this slide. Next slide. Another employer that will be of interest to several majors is the Umbrella Arts Center in Concord, Mass. And they do programming and encourage arts throughout Concord and the greater Boston and Metro West region. If you're interested in a nonprofit, cultural organization, fostering a community of artists, this is an organization that you will want to check out. And they are, because of the pandemic, they are very involved with online arts education experiences, and they're actively seeking new teachers. So they're looking for courses and workshop proposals that are project and skill-based, and it could be in any number of different medium, like drawing, painting, digital animation, photography, fiber arts, nature art, and even creative mindfulness. There have been interns there from MassArt. In the summer of 2019, we had a visual arts intern who was an illustration major, art education, animation, painting, photography, and fibers. Students have also interned at the Umbrella Arts Center. Next slide. So this is a slide from their website, and this is their Arts and the Environment program that they have. It's just one of several offerings that they have at the Umbrella Arts. They offer creative classes, workshops, vacation week programs. They have a summer arts camp. Other mediums that they work in: stained glass, mosaics, woodworking, and they even have a theater and offer live performances. So this could be appealing to any number of different majors. So if you've worked as a TA, if you're in art education, if you're a 3D or 2D fine art major, and you're looking for that tool for teaching, this could be a really good employer to check out. Next slide. So this is Neoscape. It's located in Boston, Mass. And Neoscape is a full service creative agency. And what they do is they specialize in branding and visual storytelling for institutions and real estate clients. Next slide. And in our presentation, 10 Minutes to Shine, we actually use Neoscape as our example. And if you look under their website, under Studio, this is obviously the page that's most appealing to their clients, and they're saying, these are the services that we can offer to you. And if you look over on the right-hand side, visualization is what I would like to draw your attention to. So you will see the majors of film, video, animation, photography, and I know a number of students in SIM are getting very involved in virtual reality. So if you are interested in kind of pursuing those interests, this is definitely a company to check out. Next slide. And this is from their work, the portfolio section of their site. And this is the St. Regis Hotel. This was just, I thought, a really fun image. I love the floating lanterns there. Next slide, please. And Vectorworks is the last company that we're going to highlight. They are located in Columbia, Maryland, and they also have offices in the UK and in Canada. And what Vectorworks does is they've designed a 3D software for fully integrated building information modeling. It's called BIM, and it has rendering capabilities as well. The software provides extensive 2D drafting and 3D modeling capabilities. And when you do your research on Vectorworks, I would encourage you to go into the entertainment section of their website. There's lighting design / entertainment, and it's pre-visualization for event production. And when you watch the video, you're going to hear terminology that is very broad across the art and design areas, like, for instance, pan and tilt or filmmaking terms that you were going to hear in that video. So if you have a background in architecture, sim, film, video, you definitely want to kind of just check this out. And it would be awesome to gain CAD experience. So this is the last company that we're highlighting. As Rebecca had said in the beginning, we want you to be very open in your approach to the employers. And one thing that I do mention to students and just any job seeker is that there's no decision to make until you're made an offer. So you definitely want to put yourself in a position that you're going to explore and pursue this process. And then when you're made an offer, that's when you can make decisions about whether it's the right one for you.
Okay, so thank you. So next we're going to move to how to sign up for the fair. So as you may or may not know, fair registration opens tomorrow at 8 a.m. And that means you can go onto Handshake, register for the fair, and start signing up to meet employers. So that's happening really quickly. So just be aware of that. And it's also helpful to know because everyone's going to be signing up. And so if you have a company you're very interested in, I would take a look at that sooner rather than later. So the next thing I'm going to do is play a video that's actually a clip from Handshake that's actually going to show you screenshots of what it's going to look like on your end when you go to sign up to meet employers.
So now on this tab, I can view sessions that I've signed up for, and I can go back to the career fair details itself to, again, just see the basic information on the career fair, and also just see the employers who are attending. We talked about doing research earlier. That's still very much a part of this. So you can always select one of the employers who are attending that fair to check out their profile and just learn more about what this employer is about here. You can see their website if they have a website posted there. You can also see any jobs they currently have posted as well. So if these are jobs of interest, check out those jobs, maybe apply before, or if the deadline isn't taking place before the fair, have that job in mind when you're meeting with the employer. So you can view that here. You can also choose to follow employers. What following employers does as a student is anytime you follow an employer, you will receive an email notification when that employer next posts a job or hosts a new event at your institution. So if you want to receive email notifications about employers you really like on their activity in Handshake, you want to click follow here. So I just wanted to call out those tips for the employer page itself before signing up for sessions. So let's go through a couple of scenarios where I'm signing up for sessions. I'll click available sessions here. If you're seeing companies listed here, and if it says, like, it's like a one sentence phrase, like there are no sessions available currently for this employer, it could very well mean that they just haven't created session availability yet. So don't despair, keep checking back on this page, including on the day of the fair, because employers, maybe they didn't set up their schedule yet, maybe they're planning on adding more representative availability. So if you're seeing employers here with no sessions at all, just keep in mind that you can check back to sign up later.
Erin, thank you for pointing that out. We actually got quite a few questions about that on the back end, and I mean, Erin and I now have one brain. You literally said verbatim what I had said to folks, and you know, a new tool and doing something many of them have been doing for years before doing it completely virtually. And so your career service offices and us here at Handshake are working with employers daily to get them into the system as soon as possible to get their schedule set up, but we're all still learning. So again, the takeaway from what Erin said is continue to check right up until an hour just before your event. Folks are adding sessions. And then on the flip side, I just answered another question. There are some employers whose sessions are filling up, and I know career services are reaching out to those folks and saying, hey, do you have the ability to open up another session, because it looks like our students would love to continue to meet with you. So you have multiple reasons to still be checking back and adding sessions as your schedule allows.
Great. Thank you, Tiffany. Totally agree with everything you shared there. Okay, so now we'll demo what it looks like to sign up for sessions. When I scroll down here, I can see the different firms that have sessions ready. And different firms might do different things. So some firms like the O'Keefe Company might have multiple group sessions available in addition to one-on-one sessions that I can sign up for. And then another firm may only be offering one-on-one sessions, for example. So it might vary firm by firm. Let's say I'm very interested in participating in a one-on-one session with the O'Keefe Company. So I can click this button here. And once I click this button, I'm presented with the list of reps who are available for one-on-ones. There might be multiple reps. There might be one. There may not be reps here if you're seeing a screen that says there are no one-on-one sessions available. If you're seeing a screen here that says there's no one-on-one sessions available, it could be a couple of things. It could mean that the one-on-one sessions have filled up. It could also mean that the recruiter has set preferences on their one-on-one, like qualifications, and you might not be matching those qualifications. So a couple of things to do about that. First, make sure that your profile, again, is up to date and has the most up-to-date information. And second, we have seen employers, like we've been saying, go back to their schedule and add additional representatives. We've seen employers go back and edit their preferences, edit their qualifications to open it up to more students. So that's my biggest piece of advice there is if there are no one-on-one sessions available immediately, you can always go back to see if more open up later on. But I see some one-on-ones available here, and I'm going to check out here. These recruiters put titles in their name so I can see, okay, Clinton is part of the advisory team. Stacy, I'm not sure what team she's on, but I'm definitely interested in speaking with Clinton because I'm interested in advisory roles, let's say. So I'm going to select a time slot here. The 12:31 works for me, and I'm going to click confirm. Once I click confirm, you can see the right panel on my screen has updated with the sessions I've signed up for this fair. So I know that I have this time slot booked for a one-on-one. I can also sign up for a group session if I'd like to. So I'll check out, I also want to go to this group session for advisory opportunities. You would see a description of the group session here. And if you're interested in participating in that group session, you can click confirm. And again, that just adds to my list of sessions here throughout the day. I have a one-on-one at 12:30 and a group session at 2. You are not able to double book yourself in the same fair. So Handshake will prevent you from double booking yourself. So you don't have to worry about having overlapping meetings within the same fair. However, still really good to be cognizant of your class schedule, any other meetings you have throughout the day. Scheduling is a thoughtful piece of this as well. We understand that you might sign up for a session and due to certain circumstances, you may need to cancel. So I'll show what that looks like to cancel a session. To view the sessions that you've signed up for, again, you can go to your sessions on this tab here. And let's say I want to cancel my session for this group session, advisory opportunities. So I clicked advisory opportunities and I see this link here to cancel the reservation with that session. And Handshake does have this prompt here, just making sure you want to cancel. Again, we understand that things happen and sometimes you need to cancel or reschedule something. A good thing to keep in mind is if you can cancel it sooner rather than later, because if you're taking up a slot, that means another student cannot take up that time slot or that group session slot. So we just ask that you of course, be very thoughtful about that. So you can either decide to cancel the session to confirm that or keep the session if you'd like to keep it.
Okay, so thanks. Oops, hold on, wrong one. So that's just a quick introduction on what it's going to look like to set up your sessions. So the other thing is that because it's a virtual fair, the day of the fair, you're going to be able to look at your schedule and it will give you the option to join each session. So it's all within Handshake and pretty easy to navigate. So your to-do list for this week is to remember to start looking at employers and sign up for sessions starting tomorrow, 8 a.m. I also recommend to check back periodically because employers do tend to change their schedules and add more slots as we get closer to the fair. So definitely kind of keep on top of that and keep an eye on slots that open up. So some important dates to know is, first of all, the fair is just 2 weeks away on March 10th. It's a Wednesday from 12 to 3 p.m. When you book your sessions, you're not necessarily busy that entire 12 to 3 p.m. That's just the time frame within that employers are available and you can book slots. We have some upcoming sessions to be aware of. If you haven't been to our previous sessions, we have another presentation of 10 Minutes to Shine next Wednesday at 1:30. There's also on Friday at 1:30 Handshake Profiles 1-on-1 with Meg. And this will go over how to set up your Handshake profile kind of professionally. So as an employer looks at it when you're meeting with them at the fair, you're ready for that. The week of the fair, on that Monday evening at 7 p.m., we have Monday makeup. And this is a catch-all session where we know you're getting ready for the fair. It's just a couple days away, and you can bring your questions, and we're going to go over some of the basic stuff as we're closer to the fair. And then after this session, we will be sending out an email with this information for some more resources. We will have links to our previous sessions that are recorded for Roadmap to the Fair and 10 Minutes to Shine. And then we'll also link to some help that Handshake offers if you want to do a deeper dive on navigating a virtual fair. So I'm going to stop my screen share and go back to video. So I know we have some questions. So I don't know if Meg, if you want to kind of go through chat, and if anyone else has questions, feel free to pop them in the chat as well.
Sure. So we have a question from Nada. So if we follow the companies, will we get notifications when the sessions are available?
I'm not 100% sure, so I'll check on that. But following the company generally will give you alerts if they post a job or internship, if they join an event, and kind of if there's any kind of activity. So it might give an alert, but I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I will check on that.
Okay, and we have one from Jimmy. How do you get to the scheduling screen again?
So the scheduling screen, you don't have access to it right now, but starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow, when you log into Handshake under the events section, there's a career fair event, and when you go in there, it'll give you the options for the sessions. So it's going to be through Handshake in the event section.
Okay, we have one that I missed on top. Some companies don't have a career section on their website. Are the opportunities listed on Handshake?
So Handshake we've encouraged employers, if they are currently hiring, to post jobs and internships on Handshake. Some employers, they may not be hiring right just now. Maybe they'll be posting closer to summer or in the fall. So what the fair is basically, if they are hiring and you see that posted, you can feel free to apply and ask them questions about their opportunities. But also, if you don't see that information on their website or on Handshake, feel free to ask them what they're possibly hiring for and what their timeline is. Every employer is a little bit different, and every opportunity they're hiring for might have its own situation. So that might be something that you can talk to them at the fair about if you're not seeing that information on Handshake or on their website.
Okay, I have one more question. Will the Zoom link to the meeting be emailed to us once we sign up for a session with an employer?
So how that works is for the most part, video for the session is going to take place inside Handshake on the platform. So when you go into Handshake to the fair, you'll see your schedule, and each session will have a button next to it that will say join video, and you just click that. You'll be able to join the session up to 5 minutes early, so you can test your video, your audio, make sure everything's ready. So that's how you would do it. So it's all going to be through the Handshake platform. Handshake does give employers the option to link to an external Zoom. So if an employer is using an external video platform, you would still go through Handshake at the same way and follow the join video, and it will direct you to that external video platform. So Handshake is basically your resource for everything leading up to the fair, during the fair. It's all kind of through that platform.
Okay, I think we're all set with questions to the chat, unless someone wants to.
Jahari just asked.
Yeah. Missed it. Great.
Jahari's asking, do you recommend going to a group session before the one-on-one? That's up to you. So group sessions, they're a group that's up to 50 participants, and it's more the company is giving a presentation and accepting questions. There's a little more casual aspect to it. Sometimes it may be helpful to go to an info session or group session before a one-on-one. That's not required. It's really just like personal preference. Sometimes a group session is a little more, you can be a little more passive and kind of absorb the information, and then at a one-on-one, it's definitely a little more, you're having a conversation with one other person. So that, I mean, that's really just your preference. Depending on the timeline of when the group sessions are, it may or may not, it might vary on whether how possible it is. Maybe they put a group session at the end of the fair time. So it might just vary, but I would probably say that's pretty open and you can do whatever you prefer.
We have another question down here. Are the companies not based in Boston offering remote opportunities or not necessarily?
It varies by company. So many companies who have the ability to offer remote opportunities are doing that. And if they've posted it on Handshake, they actually will note remote workers allowed. So I have seen many of them doing that, especially right now. I know some are a little more kind of unique and connected to being on person. So I think, something like if it was, I think the Dallas Art Museum, I think it actually might be in person, but they might still be doing some kind of virtual programming as well. So that might be a question you can talk to them in a session as well. But if they posted their opportunity on a Handshake, they would note that as well.
One thing that I would also offer for your consideration, if you're looking for an internship in general, is that if it is an in-person internship in, let's say, Dallas, Texas, just keep in mind that internships are very short term. It's a summer, and they're probably going to have a number of interns from around the country. So the questions about housing and, where should I live, and, just any question at all about the internship, I'm sure they can answer. So as I said, you want to bring yourself to a point that you're exploring the company, maybe you're applying for the position. If you apply and you're made an offer, that's when you start making decisions about, am I going to accept this offer? Is this feasible? But just keep in mind that if you're going to go outside of Boston, and I encourage you to think about that, opportunities will present themselves, but you have to kind of get yourself to that offer first.
So I don't know if there's any other questions.
Rebecca, there was one from Jahara that was about, she had an internship at the MFA, and it was questions about how to enter a review or an interview information on Handshake. And that would apply to any current or former interns who are in this session now.
Okay, I don't know necessarily off the top of my head. I know Handshake does send requests to students to do that, but I don't know if you can kind of proactively go around that, but I can follow up directly.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So Meg, when we send the link as a thank you for those coming to this session, we can answer that question about entering a review or an interview, and the other question that was asked previously.
Yeah. I mean, it might be something simple, because generally on Handshake, you're entering, it's like a resume where you're entering your experiences, and it might be possible to submit the review kind of from that point. I know they tend to, before they go public, they tend to have, they review them before they're visible to other people. So I know there is kind of an in-between step as well.
I've got another question. Could you go over again where to find the reviews, interviews? Is it on the company page?
I can share my screen if that works. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So if you're looking at employers and you want to see reviews, you can just go to employers. And I'm going to use the Museum of Fine Arts Boston just because we were just there. Boston. Okay. So you can search by employer. It'll show reviews on this section. And it gives you a chance, if some companies have more reviews than others, you can filter by type of museum or type of internship, or you can scroll down and just kind of read this. And these are reviews, they're not just from MassArt students, you can see reviews from other students from other schools as well, like the student is from Brandeis. So that's kind of a unique thing that allows you to kind of see some other feedback as well. And then, like Marilyn mentioned, the interviews, this is another thing where students can give feedback on what the interview process was like. So this is a good thing to kind of help you think about, if you're interested in a company, what you might expect if you're interviewing with them.
And Rebecca, can you show them how to get to this same place from the career fair
Sure.
list of employers?
Okay, so if you're looking for the career fair, either to register, sign up, or the day of the fair, you're going to go to events, and it would be in the list, but you can actually just filter by career fair. And it's the March 10th Creative Internship and Job Fair. And you can also save that and bookmark it so you get alerts as well. Right now, registration is not open, so it's just saying it will open tomorrow on the 25th. So right now, you're not going to necessarily see the schedule or the sessions just yet, just because that's not open. If you scroll all the way down, it gives the list of companies. So you'll see the first ones here, and then you can expand to see all 23. And this will give you information that the companies gave about the fair in particular, primarily what types of jobs they're hiring for, full-time, part-time, possible job titles, school years, that information. If you want to click in to get more information about a company, you can click on them. This will bring you to the employer page. This is where you can follow the employer. And again, if they have reviews or interviews, you can click on that. And it also allows you to see other students who have worked there. For Bear Tree, we had a student from illustration in 2019 who interned there. So you can kind of get some more information about the companies by clicking into that. It also, to go to their website, they'll also have information to kind of leave Handshake and go into kind of their website as well. So once again, this is employer list. The fair will change tomorrow once registration opens, and then you'll be able to see the sessions. And then like the day of the fair, when you go to the fair, again, you're going to the same area, and you would actually go into each session from this page. Does that answer questions? Anything else?
We have 2 more questions. Are these group sessions just MassArt students?
Yes.
And then we have Dallas says only full-time, but has intern info listed.
Sorry, what was that?
Dallas says full-time,
Mhm.
but only has intern info listed on their page. Dallas, I believe it's the Dallas Museum.
I know there's our internships, which may be full-time summer internships, if that's the question.
Yeah, I can speak. I was just wondering, I guess, how to differentiate which jobs are offering internships versus, like, you know, for those of us graduating who might be looking for something more
Okay,
long-term.
Mhm.
I was looking at the ones that said employment, whatever, full-time, part-time, but even those, like some of those only have internships. So I thought it was referring to the internship is full-time.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how to find which ones are offering those.
Okay, okay. So I'll share my screen again. So full-time and part-time, an internship can be both full-time and part-time, and a job can be both full-time and part-time. It's a little confusing. Full-time just generally means approximately like 35 to 40 hours a week. So looking at the companies, you will see job types, internships. So like Clam Bake is specifically looking for interns. And Chase Design, they have job types, jobs. So a job would be more of a job. It could be different types of job. They put full-time, so that would be full-time job. Black Math did both internships and jobs, and generally full-time. so that's kind of how you would do it. Usually if they're listing job, that's more of not an internship. It's more of kind of like a post-graduation type of experience. Within this, there still may be some like flexibility because Handshake, they don't necessarily give, every option out there. So I know some are doing, permanent jobs, some are doing freelance. So some of this might be having more of a conversation to kind of see more about the nature of it. But generally, if it's a job, it usually indicates that they're thinking more post-graduation opportunity. Does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Okay. Any other questions? And once just to clarify, yes, this fair is it's only for MassArt students, so the only other students participating will be MassArt students.
I think that's about it for the chat.
Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to put them in chat, or you can ask them over video if that's fine. Yes, we are recording this and we will be sending out an email with a link to it. And we also have been linking to our recorded sessions on the career development website as well. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, I will let you all go. But feel free if you have, wait, hold on, there's another question. Oh, so Annie asks if the event is MassArt students, but you are competing with students from other schools. Yes. So yes, employers, they are most likely hiring from multiple schools, and sometimes they do events. So each school might have their own fair. So while this event is just for MassArt students, when you're applying for an internship or job, there are students and alumni from other places who may also be applying to those jobs as well.
The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is if you register for a group session or a one-on-one session, the employer knows, they will see your name on their lists, and they may send you a message. So if you get a message from an employer, definitely read it and respond to it. And they can see your profile and your resume as well. So just keep that in mind. And as Rebecca had mentioned, we do have a handshake session coming up with Meg on March 5th. It's a Friday at 1:30. So if you want to find out more about how to create a handshake profile, that would be a good session to attend. We also have it pre-recorded on our YouTube channel.
So Nada asked if it's recommended to have a resume before you sign up for the sessions tomorrow. Not necessarily by the sessions, but for the time of the fair, it's recommended that you make sure your handshake profile is visible to the employer. And if you have a public resume on your profile, they can see that as well. So I recommend before you meet with employers, you make sure that is ready for them to view. Okay, cool. Well, if you have anything else that comes up, feel free to contact us. Again, we'll be sending out an email with a link to the recording after this, as well as additional resources. So thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.